The April Lancaster County housing market is shifting, just not how you might have thought. Let's dive into the numbers and really nerd out for just a few minutes so that you can be a well informed participant, whether you're thinking about selling or buying a home. Data drives decisions. That's what Dan always says. And I'll say it again for the ones in the back: data drives decisions. We all have opinions, feelings, thoughts, and they're like rear ends. Everybody's got one, and most people's stink. But the data is what allows us to drive forward strong and smart. So let's take a look at some of the key metrics that I and many of my colleagues spend time on. So the first one we're going to look at is what everybody asks about, what everybody wants to know is how are prices? Well, home prices in Lancaster County have increased a whopping, hold on to your hats, 4.2% year over year. So from April of 24 to April of 25, home prices were just shy of increasing 4.5%. 4.2% for appreciation of properties in a 12-month period is fantastic. That's a great year. So home prices, median home price just reached $338,500. $38,500. It wasn't but a few months ago that we were front page of the newspaper, cutting off the rooftops because we had hit a historic high in home prices ever recorded in the county of about $330,000. We have now far exceeded that by quite a bit to be at $338,500. For many places around the country, that's not a lot of money. For my hometown back in Brooklyn, New York, that's a down payment on a condominium. But here in Amish country, here in Lancaster County, for a single family residence, that's a lot of money. That is a considerable amount of money. So it means if you are a seller and you have thoughts of selling your home, if you're a homeowner, I should say, this could be a fantastic time for you to sell because you can take advantage of all of that equity that you have built up in your home for however long you've owned it. If you're a buyer, that means you need a very strong buyer's agent to guide you through this process. You need to be strategic, both in your search for homes, because we're going to talk about some other things in a minute that affect your search for homes, but also in your offer. When you decide to finally put an offer and you speak to a fantastic agent like myself, and we're putting everything together, it's vital that we be strategic and not think only about price. But obviously, price is an important component. So we've hit a huge high, $338,500, a 4.2% increase in median sold price in April. Median days on market, you guys know I care a lot about this. This gives me a lot of information as far as how fast the market is moving. And I've got friends all over the country. Heck, I've got friends all over the world in this industry. But specifically in other markets around the country, they're seeing days on market in the heavy double digits. I'm talking 40, 60 days. We're seeing heavy days on market. Guess what? Lancaster County, we're back to the single digits. That's right. April of 2025, median days on market in Lancaster County was 6 days. 6 days from going on the market till getting under contract. Inventory is up a bit. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Interest rates did not go down anywhere near where even I thought they would, to be honest, at this point. I thought we would be at least in a really low 6, possible high 5. We're not anywhere near that. And still, homes in Lancaster County are selling in under a week. Again, if you're a homeowner who's had thoughts about downsizing or had thoughts about relocating or, not sure what to do, give us a call, shoot me a DM, text message, smoke signal, whatever you need, because the value of your home may be better than you think, and we may be able to sell it in a much better time than you think. But if you're a buyer, strategy matters. How you approach this market matters because home prices are doing this. Days on market have been doing this, even though inventory is doing this a little bit, which we're going to talk about in a second. How about we talk about that right now? Inventory has increased, which we have seen over the last couple of months, but it's still incredibly tight. What does that mean? What that means is active listings in Lancaster County increased 7.2% year over year. So last April compared to this April, we had almost 10% more properties on the market. That's great. That's fantastic because we need it. We need the inventory. It gives buyers a little bit more choice. It gives sellers a little more competition. It helps all sides. But that also means we have just over 1 month's supply of real estate. To be exact, 1.34 months. What that means is if we stopped getting listings, this is what the inventory count, this is how we factor it. If we stopped getting listings, if we had no more properties hit the market, how long would it take for us to sell out of the inventory we have? So in a seller's market, it's 6 months or less, believe it or not. In a balanced market, it's hovering around 6 months. In a buyer's market, it's 6 months plus. So for the last 5 years, we have been way on the left side of that spectrum in a strong seller's market all over the country. Little by little, over the course of the last several months, the last several years, we've seen some trickling towards the center. Some markets are in a balanced market right now, from what I'm hearing from colleagues, and a lot of markets are kind of starting to trickle that way. Lancaster County is still very much in a seller's market. You've got prices increasing, you've got days on market under a week, and you've got now this piece of data here where inventory is at under a month and a half. It means a very strong market. Now let's talk about how many properties actually got sold. Closed sales jumped 11.6% compared to last April. That means that even though we're seeing a slight bit more inventory come on the market, and even though prices continue to increase steadily over time, and even though interest rates are not anywhere near what many of us thought or hoped they would be at, we're still seeing people buying homes in Lancaster County. That means that though the conditions are not super desirable, the location is, because it's a wonderful place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a fantastic place to start a business or take over a business. It's a wonderful place to live. So many people want to come here that even though the market conditions are not ideal or not super favorable for buyers, they're still increasing the amount of homes sold. We're talking about almost a 12% jump in closed sales compared to last year. New listings. So we looked at how many property, what's the difference in how many properties sold? Well, new listings were up 10.2%. So to alleviate that buyer pressure just a little bit, right? We had 10% more listings hit the market. This means buyers have a little bit more choice. Buyers have a little bit more of a broadening of a selection, so they can take a little bit more of a breather. The broader Central Pennsylvania region, so if we look at all of the counties that touch Lancaster, all 5 of those counties saw a 5.9% increase in medium sold price and a 4.9% jump in closed sales. That means Lancaster County's always been the strongest market in our little region. If you look at the counties that touch us, Lancaster County's always doing a little bit better, higher prices, faster sales. What this data point is telling us is that even those surrounding counties, we're looking at, York, Dauphin, Lebanon, Berks, Chester, all of these wonderful places that surround Lancaster, they're all still doing better compared to a year ago by a decent amount. Again, 5.9% in median sold price and almost a 5% jump in the number of sales closed. Now, let's do a little bit of analysis here. Sellers still have pricing power. What does that mean? That means that the vast majority of homes are selling at or above list price. So sellers still are getting a high price for homes. We're seeing the median price continue to increase. But with that 11% more listings hitting the market, we're starting to see a little bit of balancing to the market. Not a lot, but a little bit. Buyers are able to ask for a little bit more. Maybe again, not taking off that top dollar amount, because for certain reasons, the seller might not want to discount the price immediately, but maybe getting some concessions that come in through the negotiation, which again, negotiations require a skilled negotiator, someone who understands the real estate market, knows their numbers, and knows your goals, whether you're a seller or a buyer. Showings, interesting point here, are down 4.8% from last year. So prices are up, Closed deals are up, inventory is up, and showings are down. Well, what does that mean, Daniel? That means buyers are being a little bit more strategic. They're being a little more selective in which properties they want to go see. That's awesome. That is a great thing. We don't want to waste anybody's time. Seller, buyer, listing agent, buying agent. We don't want to waste the gas and the mileage on and the wear and tear on the vehicles. We want to make sure that if you're serious about buying a home, we take you to the right properties for you. So showings are down about 5%. Interesting delineation within home prices. Attached homes reached a median price of $325,000, which is just shy of 7% increase in sales price, while attached or townhomes, which are in the same category, almost 10%, 9.7% to 223,000. Condominiums led the charge with 10.9% increase to $255,000 price. These numbers are fantastic as a leading indicator for a very strong real estate and economic market. Last data point. New listings across all markets, meaning all market types, multifamily, single family, attached, detached, condominium, townhouse, all the markets increased some more than others, but increased some. That means we're seeing more properties hit the market of all types, all shapes and sizes and colors. That's good news. It's good news for buyers. It's good news for people that are looking to move here. It's good news for the people that need to downsize or upgrade because it means all property types are more available in Lancaster County. So my question to you is, what are you seeing out there? Are you reading those crazy headlines? Are you hearing from your neighbor or your mother-in-law? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? What data would you like me to include in future reports like this? And of course, shoot me a DM, shoot me a text message, visit my website at danielortizteam.com. Until next time, I'll see you.